What was something socially acceptable 10-20 years ago that'll make you public enemy no.1 today? Here in the West, bitch slapping your wife. I'm given to understand places like Russia have been working to decriminalize domestic violence. Get back to those good old days, I guess, law that were good for so few but miserable for so many. Then there's places like Afghanistan with its new Taliban government. Just to say social acceptance can be regional as well as temporal. Smoking for sure. In my country, it's still here or there as a social thing. But it's rare. As someone who has tics and high resistance to almost all pills, which are worse, I guess, cigarettes are the only thing that keeps me somehow normal, without dancing on the spot the whole time. Even when I stand far from everyone, which I always do, I'm getting strange looks more and more. Being transgender. Literally nobody gave a single fuck 20 years ago. It's just that a certain extraordinarily shitty segment of the population realized we exist because their preferred propaganda outlet told them we do, and that they should be afraid of us or hate us, thinking trans people were weird, and that teaching little kids about sexual preferences is completely inappropriate and borderline pedophilic. People would have thought you were out of your mind to discuss surgically changing a child's genitals for anything other than a life-saving procedure. Not wanting to give your personal private information over to faceless corporations for their gain. So many people rationalize it as, why would they want your information? You're just one person, or I bet you own a phone, as if the last one is some kind of gotcha. Writing media articles about celebrities gaining weight and calling them fat, losing control, getting lazy, etc. for it, even though realistically, they'd probably gone from a size 2 to a size 6 in the space of 10 years, aka the normal kind of weight gain. Saying something that's 100 true, but inconvenient for someone else's feelings. We've gotten to the point where people have to tiptoe through a minefield of potential verbal commentary forks pause. And it shouldn't have to be like that. Smoking cigarettes back in the 2000s and 90s, you could ask a random passerby if you have a lighter, and 9x out of 10 they had one. Now people react like you kicked a baby in the face if you ask for a lighter. Lol. Probably 90 of what went on in most nightclubs, outside of a small handful of goth nights. I completely stopped the club thing in 2017, and even then had been going less and less the previous few years prior. I truly miss Jank's attitude of accepting people for who they are. No cares about your sexuality, religion, race, etc., etc. No forcing your views on others. Just be a decent human being. Where did that go? I always keep the blue sticker on my car just to pander to cops who I don't want pulling me over. Morons will walk by now and spit or leave odd stains on it. That transgender have a mental illness called body dysphoria. I keep saying it got me a lot of troubles outside of my home country, but inside all Gucci. I personally only know one person who gives a shit at all about pronouns, but seems like 80 of people online live and die by their pronouns. Leaving your kids in the car while you go grocery shopping, or more recently, letting your kids run through the neighborhood unattended. As someone watching How I Met Your Mother for the first time since I missed it the first time, around anything Ted Mosby says or does, being a grown man joking about wanting to have sex with teenage girls. It's wild how prevalent that used to be and wouldn't accepted. Telling the truth, supporting the working classes, not trusting government or big corporations to resolve our issues, making a game that doesn't have microtransactions, free to play, battle pass, and works perfectly fine on launch day. Getting a girl's number through a mutual friend. It was kinda sweet back in the day, but nowadays it's considered creepy. Smoking in a restaurant. Edit, that was acceptable 20-30 years ago. God, time flies so fast that it ripped out my hair. Walking up to a woman, asking her name, introducing yourself, asking for her phone number for a date. Looks like we moved on from sex questions to what was acceptable X years ago that isn't today. Telling the host or hostess at a restaurant that you would like to sit in the smoking section. Totally humiliating Delta Burke over her weight. It was everywhere in media, and just awful. Smoking wherever da fuck you wanted, well 20y 35y. I keep forgetting that it's already 2024. Grabbing a woman's foot or boob that isn't your wife or GF and playing it off as a joke. Saying the N-word but not using the N-word, like quoting it or referring to it. Supporting Jewish right to live and exist, and not attacking Israeli civilians. Oh man, I thought 10 years ago meant 2000s. It's actually 2010s. Holy shite. 10-20 years ago. Hoping that Russia pulls itself together and gets better. Showing up unannounced and knocking on a friend's door just to hang out. Assuming someone with a penis was a man, and that only women get pregnant. Singing all the words out loud when listening to a Wu-Tang or NWA album. Leaving your dog or child in the car whilst nipping into a shop. Knocking at your friend's door unannounced as if that was normal. Putting a cat in a bin ... Before CCTV, everyone was doing it. Smoking in your car with your kids' babies trapped inside. Having differing political opinions from the mainstream. Having the Confederate flag on your oversized truck. The way people have become today. Common courtesy. British children's TV presenters being pedophiles.